All right, welcome everyone to Thursday night's edition of Southern Woods and Waters, and boy, have I got a show for you tonight. I tell you what, we're going to go straight from last weekend. As you know, we've been announcing the Governor's Bass Tournament out there at Austin Peay. Well, I have the winners of that event here with us tonight, and it's our very own Calvin Cothron with Cunningham Motors and his great partner Brian Cook with Cook Utility Construction. They've been partners for a long time, but very deservedly so. They went out there and just spanked the guys. I'm telling you, just spanked them now. Now, you can laugh, but 4-pound lead is a pretty darn good lead in anybody's book. I'm telling you, it's just anybody's book. When you got the Elite Series that are within hundreds of ounces and stuff, and then you guys come along, and now you got to admit, now you guys went from Springfield, Tennessee, and beat some guys that live right there on Kentucky Lake.
We're kind of proud of ourselves. It was kind of one of those deals where you hope the fish stayed. You know, you catch them today, and then they like I tell Brian, they can swim. You know, you get there the next morning, like where'd they go?
Where'd they go? Yeah. And I want to touch on that tonight. I want to touch a little bit about what you and Brian did to prepare. I know y'all practiced, but what keeps you in the mental game if the first hour you don't have a fish? I mean, how do you stay in the mental game when you know they're there? What do you do?
We had basically 3 spots Saturday.
Okay.
That I had fished one of them Thursday, and Brian had fished 2 of them on Friday.
Right.
And had some 5-pounders on it, and we kind of got off of those and just kind of had a little plan, to fish the 1 spot and the 2nd spot, and when we got to the 3rd spot, we already had a limit.
Right.
We had 1 5-pounder, but his good hole didn't pay off. We caught 3.5, 4 pound there, and a couple keepers, and there was a spot up there that we always kind of a go-to spot. We could always catch a limit, but never anything big in it,
Yeah.
But he caught a 5-pounder off of it Friday, and that was we got there about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they were all big fish.
Now this Austin Peay was a 1-day tournament.
Right.
There has been in history, and I don't know how many boats was there this time, but in history, the past years, there's been 250 plus boats there. 240.
242 this time.
Okay, 242. So it's down a little bit.
The weather knocked it down.
The weather kind of did it. But now this was a Saturday tournament, so it was hot. I mean, it was hot Saturday. It was like 90 degrees during the day. The week preceding that y'all practiced in, the 80s, wasn't too bad. It was 84, 85. Right. Were the fish, did you find them shallow? Did you find them deep? Were they spawned? Are they spawned out? Or are some still trying to spawn? Or?
Everything we caught was in 5 foot of water.
Right. Yeah, man, most of them spawned out from what I could see.
So their noses was turned back towards the deeper water, you think, and headed out that way? They'd done their job?
Especially the ones out on the flat. There's a flat out there we fished. It's kind of off a secondary channel, and they were way off the bank out on that flat. So we kind of thought maybe they were heading back out.
Electronics.
And we kind of intercepted them.
I got to ask, electronics is playing a big part in your game right now, isn't it?
Not yet.
Not yet?
No, when they get out on the drops and ledges and stuff,
okay,
that's coming pretty soon, and I'd say if that water, if it stayed cold, warm like it's been the last week or so, that some of them are right on the edge of the flats and the drops right now, but in another 2 or 3 weeks, then that's when the electronics come in. There's still a lot of fish shallow.
Well, Brian, do you think that they're running up the creek channels now, or getting close to the creek channels, or like Calvin said, they're right on the edge? Or
well, like I said, most of the fish we caught were kind of midway. Now, whether they were coming in or whether they were going out, I don't know for sure. They looked to be spawned out, but like I said, we caught all our fish, in 5 foot of water, or some of it less. The deepest spot we had probably maybe 10 foot on a hump in the mouth of a creek. And there again, they could have been either coming in or going out. I'm sure there's still some in the bushes that can be caught, but I think the majority of them, starting to kind of head back towards that summer pattern.
I think now, did you get any flipping and pitching at all?
They didn't flip a bit.
Y'all didn't do any of it, okay?
No, and if
I know
the
you
water
like to do
oh
that.
yeah, if the water had been up, they'd suck the water down a little. It gets up around 360. That's where I love to go.
Was the water down a little bit?
Yeah, it was maybe 359. It got back up to that.
Okay. So
Close to summer pool.
Close to summer pool. I love the pitching and flipping on Kentucky Lake. I mean, if you don't, there's something wrong with you, because I mean, that's just fun. Just to throw something in a bush and watch the line zip out like that. You hope you snag him just right. But now that ledge, the stuff that y'all were fishing, you didn't have any structure to go by.
We got some stump rows that. These fish were kind of funny pattern. He kind of lucked up on it Friday. Throwing a little square bill crankbait, and usually we catch them on a worm or a jig around these stumps, on this flat, and he didn't get a bite, he said, and he picked up a little crankbait and didn't even have to hit the stump, just come over it.
Right.
And they just keyed it up.
Yeah, I mean, I probably fished 25 stumps, like you said, with a worm and a jig that we normally catch them and never got a bite. And kind of like you, my mental game kind of got messed up. I said, why aren't they biting?
That's right.
So I just picked up a little square bill, KVD 2.5 crankbait, and would just randomly casting in between the stumps, and would probably catch one every 4 or 5 casts. So I quit and called him and said, I think we got a spot.
I think we got one here. I think we got a winner.
And they stayed.
Right.
A lot of times, that's what just kills you. You're all excited and you can't sleep, and so I don't get that excited anymore, because I kind of have been through that and probably think they're not going to be there.
Well, Calvin, I've seen you and Brian many times on the lake, and talked to you the day before tournament. You're like, we've located some fish, we just hope they stay. And then when I pull up to you, you're like, they weren't there.
That happens a lot.
It does happen a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I've got to worry. I used to really chase them hard, but the big thing, I think now, we have fun. If we don't catch them, I mean, I don't stress out like now. When I first started fishing, I run by fish,
Well, that was competitiveness.
Yeah, but
and now you're kind of. I've won a few.
Well, I mean, just it's about fishing now, and enjoying it, and I enjoy it better.
And Brian, you're about the same way.
Yeah, getting that way. Like not mad at them as I used to be.
Not as mad at them as you used to be. I tell you what. Hey, I got to say welcome to the 2 young fellas here that are going to be fine fishermen one day. And we got Miller. Miller, how are you doing tonight?
Good.
And Colin. Colin, how are you?
Good.
Now, Miller, you just came from a baseball game, didn't you? Yeah, and you won. Did you beat them bad?
Yes.
Where's your daddy tonight?
He's still at the ballpark.
Is he still at the ballpark? Okay. Colin, do you play baseball? You don't? Do you fish? You like to fish? You like to hunt?
Yes, sir.
Now, Miller, I know you gotta like to hunt. With a granddad like this, you gotta be out there hunting all the time. I tell you what, it's awesome to see the generations here being represented, and just to see that guys are taking their sons and grandsons out and having a good time in the outdoors. But we're going to take a break, visit some of our fine sponsors that help make this show possible. Please, if you're given a choice, make that choice to patronize those folks. We'll be right back with more of Southern Woods and Waters.